Welcome, everyone, to the special bonus Bible Talk Insight. Today, we're really getting into something fundamental, aren't we? The unseen battleground, our inner life, and, well, our accountability to God. It's all about what he sees when, maybe no one else is looking.
That's it, precisely. And it's the kind of deep insight we're hoping to unlock together today. Just a quick reminder for everyone listening, you'll definitely want to check out the main episode and the supplemental episode of Bible Talk Insight for the full picture, the broader context. And please do share this with a friend if you find it helpful, subscribe to the program, and definitely connect with us over on Facebook. We've got daily encouragement waiting for you there.
Absolutely. So our goal today, our mission really, is to explore this powerful link between God's total awareness, his omniscience, and what truly drives us deep down. We're focusing specifically on Jeremiah 17, verse 10, and then looking at how Psalm 139 complements that. We're aiming for real, lasting transformation here.
Okay, so to grasp the real weight of these verses, maybe we should start with a pretty sobering story from the Old Testament. Remember Achan? We touched on this in the main episode, how he committed that serious trespass, taking those accursed things God had specifically said not to touch. He took silver, gold, a garment, and he hid it. Successfully hid it, or so he thought.
And that's the chilling part, isn't it? His action was totally secret, one hidden sin. But the Bible is crystal clear. His private disobedience ignited the anger of the Lord, not just against Achan, but against the entire nation of Israel. Wow, that just powerfully shows two things. One, private sin can have devastating public consequences. And two, you really can't hide anything from the God who sees everything.
No, you can't. His secret act broke that trust between the people and God. And Achan's story leads us straight into our key text for today, Jeremiah 17:10. Think of this verse as God's response to hidden sin, his call for us to engage in, relentless self-examination. I, the Lord, search the heart and test the mind to give every man according to his ways, according to the fruit of his deeds.
Okay, let's really dig into that language. It says, he searches the heart and tests the mind. That sounds much more active than just passive observation. What exactly is God looking at during this internal audit?
Well, Bible scholars offer some really rich insights here. The heart, the Hebrew word lev, it's consistently seen as the source of life, right? The seat of our deepest motives or affections, the very core of our will. It's the why behind what we do. But then the verse adds the mind, sometimes translated as reins or even kidneys. Now, in ancient Hebrew thinking, the kidneys were understood as the seat of the deepest, most hidden emotions, those gut feelings, suffering, profound sorrow.
Okay. So if the heart is about will and motive, and the reins or kidneys represent those deep, almost subconscious emotions, then God isn't just looking at our conscious thoughts or plans. He's examining that gut-level emotional reality, things maybe even we don't fully understand about ourselves, the physical expression of our hidden character.
Precisely that. He's scrutinizing the entire internal machinery that produces our actions. He cares about the purity of the source, not just the outward flow. And notice how the verse immediately explains why he does this meticulous search. It's not solely for condemnation, though. As the story of Achan reminds us, that's certainly a possibility.
Right. So if the search isn't purely about punishment, what's God's primary motivation for this kind of internal surveillance?
The core idea here is about God's unwavering, impartial justice. The search happens to give every man according to his ways, according to the fruit of his doings. See, divine justice means that no secret motive, no hidden act, whether it's a terrible transgression like Achan's or maybe a quiet, unseen act of kindness, goes unnoticed or unrecorded. It confirms that true obedience, the kind God requires, has to come from internal loyalty, not just putting on a good show.
That standard of impartial justice demanding genuine inner loyalty, it sounds demanding, but you're saying this Old Testament truth actually sets the stage for a really wonderful New Testament promise.
Oh, absolutely. There's a direct line. When we actually submit our hearts to this divine searching, when we actively strive for that inner purity Jeremiah talks about, we're essentially investing in eternity. Just look at 1 Peter 1, verse 4. Peter describes the inheritance waiting for those who maintain that integrity. Unto an inheritance incorruptible and undefiled, and that fadeth not away, reserved in heaven for you. Knowing that such a pure, lasting reward is waiting. Well, that should powerfully motivate us to cooperate with God's searching, to let his spirit purify our hearts now.
Okay, this is where it gets even deeper. Jeremiah tells us God searches. Now let's shift to Psalm 139. Here, King David isn't just talking about the search, but the sheer result of that search, the overwhelming reality of God's inescapable presence. It shifts from maybe a warning to a sense of awe.
Yes, David's description of God's omniscience in Psalm 139 is just breathtakingly intimate. It's not just that God can find hidden things, it's that he already knows absolutely everything about us, every moment. David spells it out with such personal details right in the first few verses, doesn't he?
He does. God knows when we sit down, when we stand up. He understands our thoughts afar off. I mean, even before we've fully articulated them ourselves, he's acquainted with all our ways.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the most humbling part, there isn't a single word on our tongue that God doesn't know completely, altogether.
It's total awareness, a 360-degree constant knowledge. And David gets it. He asks almost rhetorically, "Whither shall I go from thy spirit, or whither shall I flee from thy presence?" His conclusion is one of sheer humility. This total knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high, I cannot attain unto it.
But that inescapability, it could feel terrifying, right? If God sees every single flaw, every selfish thought, every moment we let our guard down, how does this constant, pervasive, divine knowledge actually strengthen our faith instead of just, paralyzing us with fear?
That's the crucial pivot. This all-encompassing knowledge isn't meant to crush us. It's actually the foundation for absolute trust. If we can just acknowledge that, yeah, we are frail, we're weak, we genuinely need divine help to keep us from, well, the enemy's tactics, from hypocrisy, then God's omniscience becomes like a divine guidance system. He knows exactly where our internal weak spots are, and his constant presence means he's always right there, ready to guide us toward humility, toward repentance, toward genuine self-correction. It reassures us that when we sincerely ask for help, he knows precisely what needs mending.
Okay, so we've gone from the fact of the search to its implications. Now let's bring it home. Practical application. If God demands his inner purity and is actively searching our hearts, how do we actively work on reforming that inner life so it can, well, stand up to his perfect justice? What's the real goal here?
The ultimate goal, the true object of all genuine spiritual growth, is incredibly profound. It's to restore the image of God in the soul. This isn't about quick fixes or just following external rules. It demands real personal discipline over our minds, our spirits. It's about a fundamental internal transformation of our very nature. When God searches the heart, he's looking to find a character that increasingly reflects his own goodness.
And for us as learners trying to achieve this transformation, where do we find the best instruction manual for such a huge task?
The highest wisdom, the most reliable guide for this restoration project, comes directly from the careful, dedicated study of the Bible. We need to treat it as our absolute guide for every decision, using it to determine what is the highest and best in all cases. It means making the Bible our daily study, not just skimming stories, but really wrestling with its truths and actively applying them to shape our character deep down. It requires discipline in our thinking, not just reading words on a page.
Which brings us right back to where we started, in a way. Back to Achan, Jeremiah, and justice based on our deeds, our fruit. If reflecting God's goodness is the aim, what's the ultimate measure of our lives? What's our personal responsibility in all this?
We have to recognize that we should make the noblest use of every faculty and opportunity God gives us, every single one. The true measure of success, the one essential lesson we must learn, is simply this: goodness alone is true greatness. We are held individually accountable for how we use the specific talents, the capabilities, the potential God has entrusted to us. Our capacity for good, our potential to reflect his image, that's what God is assessing when he searches the heart.
And that really is the core insight from Jeremiah and Psalm 139, isn't it? God's searching knowledge isn't just about making us act right on the outside. It compels us to pursue inner goodness, because that internal character, the purity of why we do things, the noble use of our gifts, that's the real measure of who we are in his eyes. So let me leave you, our listener, with this final thought to chew on. If God holds us accountable not just for what we do, but for all that we could become if we rightly use the talents he's given us, how does the way you're using your time, your thoughts, your abilities today reflect that inner character God is searching for and wanting to perfect in you?
That's a powerful challenge for every single one of us. And again, we really encourage you, join us for the supplemental episode and the main episode for even more depth and practical application. Please share this Bible Talk insight if it blessed you. Subscribe so you don't miss out. And connect with our community on Facebook. May this understanding of God's incredible knowledge draw all of us continually closer to Jesus, our ultimate example of inner purity and truth.